Hi everyone, it's Diane back with you to share another card. Stick this up here really quick just so if anybody's interested in joining us for our in-person workshops, you know how to get a hold of me. You can email me at bohostamper.com if you have any questions or aren't sure of the dates or whatever. They are listed on my Boho Stamper website as well, but email me if you have any questions and I'll help you out. Try to anyway. So today I'm pulling out another old set. Can you tell by my mat here? I'm using Very Versailles. Yep. And I was inspired to pull this set out by a couple cards I saw on Pinterest. I was looking at them and I was thinking, oh, that's a pretty card. Wait, I have that stamp set. And so I checked, and sure enough, I have it. And there were only, I think, 2 stamps in here that I had even used, probably only once or twice. And so that means I need to use these stamps. Again, if you don't have this stamp set, but you have one of the many other ones that have some, all I'm really using today is the font, the scripty font, and the branch. And and I did use this little frame, but it's not necessary. Any greetings or sentiments that you would like to use. Oh, I just saw those stamps too. My son got me for my birthday this year. We're going to have to pull those over and play with them one day because I didn't have enough. So now I have more pretty ones to pick from. But today we're going to use this one. So I started with this card, and it's so fast and easy that I'll probably beat my 16-minute short video that I did once before. So I did a second one, and I stepped it up a little bit. I added a die cut border, and then added some dimensionals and die cut my greeting out. This stamp set, I don't believe, did have dies that went with it. I don't really see where there would be anything much to cut out other than maybe a label die and the branch maybe, but I really don't think there was. So I'm going to show you how to do the really quick and easy one first, and then we'll do one of the step it up ones. Okay, so I'm going to use a card base. I wanted to make mine a little bit more autumn because that's where we're at. It's autumn, so I'm going to use crushed curry as my base. Pretty yellow color. This is half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock that I've scored. I've cut it in half, and then I scored it and folded it in half to get a 4 1/4 by a 5.5 inch card base. Then I got a piece of crumb cake and cut 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I really can talk. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then a small piece of Daffodil Delight that was 4 inches by 5 1/4. So this is just a very simple layer card that has a mat behind our stamped image. I'm going to stamp in crushed curry, stamping off for a lot of my background. I do want to try to get my second one. Excuse me, I know I'm losing my voice. It's been on the fritz here for the last couple days. My second card, I stamped my scripty font a little crooked the second time, so I'm going to be a little more careful this time. Because to me it's noticeable. I don't know if you caught it. So I'm going to stamp this off once. Oh, I can't do it on there because I'm stamping off the edge of my paper. And then towards the top left quarter part of my first layer, we're going to give it a nice little stamp. And again, I'm going to stamp off in my bottom right quarter. I'll stamp again, just slightly, giving a little interest there in the background. And I'm going to use the big leaf image, stamp off, and put some lightly stamped leaves up here in this corner where we didn't put the scripty. And then I used that oval frame and did the same thing on the bottom left quarter. I just stamped it off. I don't really know if this is supposed to be a top or bottom. They are a little bit different. I don't know. Guess you do it however you like it. Very lightly stamped on the bottom. And I'm trying to wipe these off because when we do this again in Crumb Cake, I don't want my inks to mix together and get all muddy looking. So then back to my big branchy leaf. Now I'm going to use the whole stamp and full strength. We'll stamp an image more across the majority of our card. And there was a sentiment in here that says, always thinking of you. And I just layered that in the bottom a little bit towards the right of the card. And before I put my ink away, I used special celebrations and used the happy birthday stamp out of there. So I'm just going to do an insert while I have my crushed curry open, preferably stamping that right side up as opposed to upside down. Okay. Now we can quickly put this card together, and that's going to be it. I mean, this one's just so easy. I did add a couple of gemstones at the last minute there because I just thought I could use a little bit of sparkle. So first I'm going to layer this Daffodil Delight, which is just a lighter yellow than the crushed curry. And I'm going to mat it on some Crumb Cake. I thought that would make it feel a little bit more autumnal. Daffodil Delight is being one of those papers that's tearing with my tape runner, though. I don't really know what the deal is there. So I'll get that centered on my Crumb Cake mat. And then layer that onto the crushed curry, which I think is a beautiful yellow for fall. Very topaz-y color. We'll add our happy birthday to the inside. I mean, really, how easy is this card? Any branch or leafy image that you have would be perfect for this. Just do a second generation stamping across the bottom panel, the bottom layered panel of your card, and then a full strength stamp of that image on the front. And it just, I don't know, I think it's beautiful. And then I had some of these amber colored stones, and I think this was from, this is from one of the harvest sets this year, I believe. This is a newer one that the stones are. And that was it. I mean, really. And I love it. I think these leaves and the script are beautiful. So let's do another one of those stepped up ones, like this. This is the one where I don't know if you can see my background font. I have it a little bit crooked. I have the light shining on here, but it's not really bright. So for that card, I have a base of Mossy Meadow. And the same thing, this is just a half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And then we're going to have to do some cutting because I know I didn't have enough of everything ready for a second card. But I also knew that one card was going to go really fast. So I thought you could bear with me for a few minutes here while we cut a piece of paper to fit what we needed. So now we'll need a 4 1/8 by a 5 3/8 inch panel. 4 1/8, 5 3/8. That's going to layer on the Mossy Meadow. And then we'll get a piece of Crumb Cake. It's back in my card wrapper so that I have the colors together, because once I put this back in there by the old olive, I can never tell the two apart. Crumb Cake. Oh, I have a little scrap here we can use. That's good, 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 good. Yes, I have every color sitting here. So now we will need a 4-inch 4. And really, if it's a little shorter than 4 inches, you're fine, because I did trim the edge with that border die. 4 by 5 1/4. And then, this was a set of dies that maybe I used them once. Basic borders. And I used this little zigzaggy one. And one side is a stitched, and the other side of the cutting line are small dots. Sort of like, what's the word I want to use? Well, you're either going to get a line or a dot, and I wanted to use the dotted side. So I made sure those dots were facing the wider side of my card, my panel. Slid the die in a little bit, because underneath here is where our Pear Pizzazz is going to show. And just run this through the big shot with that border die. So I had a couple of very nice comments. Oh, I'm sorry. Even after I hit you in the head, and you're all still nice to me. People who are enjoying seeing how to use our old stamp sets. Thank you. I'm so glad you're liking it, and knowing also that I'm not the only one who looks at this stuff and says, I have to use this. I mean, because the new stuff comes out and it's so pretty, you know, and just like you, I want to go buy all the new stuff. And if I wouldn't have torn that, I could have used this on another card, but my tape was a little strong. And I just don't need more. I mean, I probably have whatever the new set is coming out anyways, you know, in a different version. All right, so let's do some stamping on this panel that we just made a border on. And again, I will use that scripty stamp, and I'm going to use my Crumb Cake ink. Trust me, I love to buy every stamp set I see. Well, not all of them. I guess there are a couple I don't really care for, but A, I don't have room. So I'm going to stamp off once. Again, stamp in the top left part of my panel. Stamp off, bottom right. And you could stamp this any way you want to. You could stamp it all over your background if you prefer. And I'm going to take that leaf stamp. It'd be pretty with a vine too. I'm adjusting this a little bit because this panel is narrower than the other card that we just did. Took that off. See, I was being good. I was going to put it away. Guess I may as well since I've taken it off of my block. And then I can use that little Victorian looking frame. Again, stamp it off one time. Put a nice little, and I even have this one going off the edge of the paper. I know you cannot, there you go. Oh, because I'm putting it in upside down. Silly girl. Silly, silly. Trying to be good and put my stamps away as I use them so I don't have too much more mess. Okay. Now, rather than stamping my greeting directly onto this crumb cake panel, because it is much narrower, this is how we're going to layer it so far. I think I made that one a little narrower than my first one, but that's okay. It's still pretty. It shows the Pear Pizzazz. Make it as wide or as narrow as you like. And then I just used a piece of Pear Pizzazz scrap with that same greeting. And I was lucky enough to have this die sitting on my work table here out of a stamp set that I can't remember where it came from yet. I'm pretty sure it came out of a Christmas set. So I'm thinking I'll be able to find that pretty soon. Starting to pull Christmas stamps out. And heaven knows we don't need any more of those. Oh my goodness. They're everywhere. I have some stamps that I had tried to sell at our yard sale, and they didn't sell. Of course, you're going to have to find the right person who even does card making or stamping. And I'm like I've said, we live in a pretty rural area, and I don't know that there are a whole lot of people out here who like doing card making and paper crafting. So anyways, I only sold a couple things, but I was kind of thinking I might do like a $10 sale and just show the stamp sets that I have and maybe make the stamp sets $10, and if they're a Stampin' die set, $15. And if anybody likes them, you can tell me, and and we'll add postage on there, and you can get some pretty nice sets for a good price, because I have to get rid of some of these sets that I have. Let me know what you think, if you would be interested in looking at some of those extra sets that I have. Alright. I stamped that one much straighter. That looks pretty. I'm happier with it when it's straight. Okay, let's put the crumb cake panel on. And I'm keeping this towards the left, trying to make my margin around the edge of that crumb cake even on those three sides. The right side obviously doesn't matter because that's the part that's going to show along the border. And then Add this to our Mossy Meadow. Ooh, I put my ink away and I didn't stamp a happy birthday. Always thinking of you with some foam dimensionals. Look, we didn't do any ink blending. Very little die cutting. Super easy, super quick, but effective. Pretty pretty. Again, you can add your little gemstones. You could put a bow on there, some sequins. What I have? Oh, you know what I have? I don't know if I want to add. I was going to say I have these pretty pearls, but I don't know if I want to add another color. I don't know if I have green ones or not. Oh, trying to get this even in the center. Let me see if I have, since we're only at 20 minutes, how about I have, oh my goodness, I have some green. Ooh, I like that color. We have I see a color in here, key lime, olive branch, and I have some stickles. I think I'm gonna go with this olive branch. I like this. I'll try a color. I'll try a drop of it here on my grid mat and let's see what it looks like. Because this will have to dry for several minutes. I think so. So let's just add along the edge of the green, the light green, the Pear Pizzazz. Yeah, along the edge of the green, like there's no other green, right? Just add a few drops. I should have put something along there to make me line this up straight. Because I don't know if I can do it on my own. Quit moving, quit moving. Trying to line it up with a grid mark on my, oh, I just stuck my finger in that sample. Ew. Ew. I gotta hold my breath. Now we can tap that down a little bit. Make them get flatter. Maybe just those three. Yeah? Yeah. And that'll be it. Look how look how quick you can make somebody happy by doing a card. Just, you know, I like those. I'm going to add them to this one. I will add them on this one. A little bigger, so they look almost like little beads. And tap that down. There they are. Yay! What do you think? I think I have to stamp happy birthday for that one, huh? Yeah. But I'm going to try to be smart and not open it up and stick my wet Nuvo Drops on my mat. That would be bad. Perfect. Love it. So, here we are. I'll glue this one in after it dries. And there's a couple of Very Versailles. Making sure I'm not sticking these in drops anywhere. Easy, quick cards. Pull those stamp sets out. Have fun. And then don't forget to send them. You know, sitting them on your desk isn't gonna... Did I hit you again? Sorry. Sitting them on your desk and leaving them there isn't going to make anybody smile. Get them out in the mail and let somebody open them up and see how pretty. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me here today and making a card. I'll be back on Friday. I don't know what we're going to do Friday yet. Whatever stamp set I can see that just tickles my fancy, that's the one that we'll play with next. So everybody have a great week. Thanks so much. Bye.